All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course, where I see that about 150 people waiting and chat is moving, so shouldn't be a problem. Let me pause that. We've got some news, also bants. We're going to be talking about, of course, the Trump address of Iran, which is fundamentally correct. And Biden's response to this was insane. Well, they did it through John Kirby. They chose the least talented person in the administration to deliver that rebuttal. They should have gone with Kamala Harris, actually. I mean, I was watching this clip, and even I was confused. It's like the Biden administration normally has bad messaging, but it's normally not this bad. Like, it's at least a 1 out of 10. It's not a negative 2 out of 10 or something like that. Scrabble going woke. I'm going to talk about that because I like Scrabble. I am, unfortunately, this is a little known fact. I'm an editor and an author. I have an encyclopedic knowledge of the English language, but for some reason, I'm not actually that good at Scrabble. I mean, I'm okay at it, but I'm just okay. You'd think that I would be an expert at this point, but I'm not, unfortunately. Been beaten in many games recently, actually. The DNC paying Biden's lawyers, which is funny because I recall that a lot of people were worried that the RNC would pay for Trump's legal bills, which he did not ask them actually in the end to do, which is strange, very, very strange. We've got Maloney on surrogacy. I happen to disagree with her. Yeah, Maloney might be hot. Yeah, she might be talented, but yeah, unfortunately, she's wrong on this one. And then, oh shit, I accidentally, sorry, everyone. I accidentally X'd out my last archived link. And then, what was the last story? Oh yeah, Voldemort ants. Yeah, we got to talk about that. In Australia, they've got a species of almost microscopic ants, actually, that they discovered using a drill. They live entirely subterranean, so they never come to the surface. And they're all pale and lanky and weird. And I like ants because I was into entomology. Actually, ants as a kid was an obsession of mine. So if the glove fits, you must clank. I agree. Joe Hoffman, have you tried pemmican? I wonder how it tastes. Actually, fucking delicious. You should try it. Get it from, what's that? Buffalo Bob's, I think. They have a variety of pemmican. It's similar to beef jerky, but a little bit different. But it's actually one of the best flavors that they offer. If you can get a box of pemmican, yes, I would endorse that. Biltong is better from Anton in Roanoke, Texas, of course. But yeah, pemmican is good. BW, I guess the left isn't afraid because they know that the Republicans will never have as much power as the Dems if any after Trump persecution. Trump will be in jail. Does this effectively end the race? No. No, we still, we hold our ground. And we fight like devils is what we need to do. Just a second here. What am I doing here? By the way, I'm in a little bit of a brain fog today. I've had one of the best days, arguably, of my entire life. And we've extremely good news. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit on the, like, what the fuck side, actually. Like, we're talking superlatively good. As in, like, you know, you got your you got 10 Christmases at the same time. Good. So I'm it's gonna take a lot to bring me down this day. Metalhead Madman, what are the chances that Trump beats this case today? Well, the case will drag on for weeks or months. It's going to be a while. I think he will beat the charges in the Alvin Bragg case because there's no evidence. Basically, it's just a claim by Alvin Bragg, hey, this money that was diverted to his lawyer was obviously for a hush money payment. Well, yeah, well, then prove it, asshole. It's basically the challenge. Pepe Payne, brother, I think your founding fathers on guns is skewed. Even they believed in time served, restoration of rights, not permanently restricting them. Even Wyatt Earp gave guns back after jail, got guns back after jail. True. If a person had served time for a violent crime, but they weren't a lunatic, what I pointed out in my morning video on Bruin, I'll elaborate, Pepe Payne, was that if a person was a criminal lunatic, that was that their proclivity was towards violence, it was habitual, they would not have been considered a member of the militia. If somebody simply committed a violent crime in passion or for some other reason, yes, they had their rights restored to them. And in many states, you actually can petition a judge to do that. I do agree with you. You are fundamentally right. I was referring to people who are lunatics. I wasn't referring to people like Wyatt Earp. And a follow-up. Also, do you trust courts to properly adjudicate when they go after Trump and grandmas like they are? The beautiful dichotomies we live in, rights from creator or man. No, I do not trust them. Unfortunately, at the moment, there's no other methodology that we can utilize, which is unfortunate. I think that everyone should have guns. We should have machine guns, mail order. As long as you show an ID so you can establish you're a citizen and above the age of 18, you should be able to get whatever you want. BW, it might be today you get drugged down, although I don't want that. I'm scared. I think you mean dragged down, or do you mean drugged? I don't know. Doc Holiday 59. Shoot Bambi, get it a hydrator, and make your own venison jerky. It's delicious, healthy, and easy. Yeah, but I don't really want to shoot Bambi. I don't know. I'm hesitant to go hunting. It's just not my style. It's just not something that I'm into. I've trapped some animals before successfully, but then only because they were raiding the garden. But I'm not really interested in killing animals, generally speaking. I don't want to eat. I mean, yeah, I'll eat them. I mean, they're tasty and everything like that. But, I don't want to see an animal die or suffer. Civic Not Gaming. Power always shifts hands and eventually declines from the hands that held it. Even if Trump is in jail, unlikely, the fight is not over. Also, do not do crazy crap. Let the left slip up first. Agreed. BW, dragged. Yes, no, I don't think I'll get dragged down. It's going to be a hard act to follow if you're trying to do that today. Again, superlative happiness. Let's start it on the news, shall we? Trump addresses Iran attack on Israel at Pennsylvania rally. This is the other day, of course. Would not have happened if we were in office. Trump said America is praying for Israel and is sending absolute support to everyone in harm's way. Of course, I don't want anyone to be harmed at all. I think he is fundamentally right. If Donald Trump were in office, this attack by Hamas, the original attack last year, never would have happened. There never, therefore, would have been an offensive by Israel in Gaza, and everything else that's popping off never would have occurred. The same is true with Ukraine. Russia would not have invaded Ukraine if Donald Trump were the president of the United States. China would not be rattling sabers after Taiwan. Japan would not have to remilitarize. They just floated an aircraft carrier the other day. They took one of their older ships and they retrofitted it. They call it the Kaga. And I did a new tech exclusive on this because the Chinese are really bent out of shape about it, because apparently that particular name was of an imperial warship back in the 1930s that bombed Shanghai at some point. And I did not know this myself. Kind of on the up and up about war history, but not everything. I don't know every single detail like some people do. My grandfather could read it off. Jesus Christ. If you had talked to him about the Civil War, he could probably give you the name of every enlisted soldier in every Vermont regiment or something like that. He was insanely intelligent when it came to the things he was interested in. But no, Trump is fundamentally correct. If we had sane, centralized Western leadership, so there was a central leader, instead of a group of an assortment of military brass, bureaucrats, etc., running the show, then this never would have happened. Iran would not have attacked Israel. Israel would not have attacked Iran's embassy in Damascus. Israel would not have been attacked by Hamas and wouldn't have therefore been forced to retaliate. None of it would have occurred. That's because people would be afraid to act in that manner. We do not have, unfortunately, centralized Western leadership. We have an oligarchic assortment of bureaucrats, military brass, old party, unipartyists and stuff like that. There's no central leader. So nobody fears that. They're too busy stabbing each other in the back to actually make sane decisions. That's exactly why this happened. Donald Trump is fundamentally correct. When they took John Kirby, of all people, by the way, goddamn, put him on TV, and they have him say, well, fundamentally, the Iran attack is the responsibility of Donald Trump because he bounced the Iran deal. How insane can you possibly get? And do you really think that the average voter is going to go along with that line? It's bullshit. And everybody knows it. Every independent voter knows that's nonsense. It's sort of like blaming Trump for inflation. They've tried to blame Trump for literally everything that this administration has actually done. They've been doing this for more than 3 years now. Originally, some people were amenable to it because it's fresh in their mind, the failings of the Trump administration towards the end with regards to lockdownerism. And so they said, well, that makes sense. Yeah, Donald Trump obviously is the one that's screwing up here. By the time that the Afghanistan withdrawal happened, though, and because of its severity, I think that really was the end of their ability to bounce things and deflect. And now they've got to take responsibility, but Joe Biden can't because he's an elderly man. He can't even be responsible for what he has for dinner. And that's just the way that it is. Joe Biden chooses his meals. The people that are around him choose his schedule. He doesn't have any latitude or agency whatsoever. Blind Guy Gaming, yo Sticks, you gonna watch the Fallout TV show? It's getting mixed reviews. Seems like it uses modern lore, not classic lore. I'm happy we have a show. Nope, never gonna watch it. Not interested. It would ruin the franchise for me. I liked Fallout 3. I liked Fallout 4. New Vegas was good as well. The storyline, the plot line was really good. As far as the sort of interactions with the world, very good. But it was glitch fest. I'm hoping that with Fallout 5, we get something good, and I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a couple of years probably, but I will definitely be playing that, but I'm not going to watch the Fallout TV show now. I did see an ad for it, actually, on a bus stop, only a few blocks from here. API, starting work. Clank for me, guys. Machining sucks. Money. Excellent. Clank, clank. Hopium Gardener. Hi, Sticks. I'm sure you've heard a prominent Orthodox bishop was almost murdered a few hours ago in Australia. Things are getting absolutely insane. No, I didn't, actually. Send me a link. DM me on Twitter. Blind Boy Gaming. You can helm the Kaga in World of Warships. Fun. That sounds fun. Yeah, one thing that I actually didn't like about Napoleon Total War was the naval function. The land battles were insane, and even vanilla, let alone with NTW3. But unfortunately, navally, it was a little bit boring. It was fun watching the dudes scramble around on the deck firing cannons and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it wasn't quite as fun. Let's see. Doc Holliday. Shoot. Oh, I already read that one. What do fuck? Sticks. The Imperial Japanese aircraft carrier Kaga was one of the 6 carriers that attacked Pearl Harbor. It was sunk at the Battle of Midway. Interesting. So you know more about that history than me. And a follow-up, hunting is good conversation. It'll all come to Vermont and stand guard on your garden and shoot the deer. You have those big northern whitetails up there, 2 times the size of ours in Mississippi, lol. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I'll pay you in beads. I know, I like venison. It's not that, it's just, I don't know. If I had to shoot something, it would be something that's attacking me. So if it's like a predatory animal, some crazy dude or something like that, then I won't hesitate to fire. But I really, unless I need to, I don't really want to go hunting. I don't even like trapping in the garden. It's just out of necessity. I had to do it a couple times before. The skunks were coming in and they were raiding everything and going crazy. There was a groundhog I had to kill and some moles, actually. One of them I managed to hit with a pitchfork. The moles were in the compost pile, right? Funny story. Well, not funny. I kind of feel bad about it. Yes, Kitty, thank you. But there were moles living in the compost pile. And I excavated the entire pile. They had babies in there. I had to destroy them. I didn't feel good about that. And then a couple hours later, the adults came back, the parent moles. And I threw a pitchfork and I speared one of them straight to the ground. And then I bashed its skull. And then I, of course, destroyed the other one. I didn't really feel good about it, though. I felt terrible about myself. Because I hope that they didn't suffer when they died. I mean, I had to defend my garden, but I didn't want to. I was forced. Corto Maltese. I can see why New Vegas might be deserted. The tunnelers from the Divide and the Cloud from Sierra Madre. We'll see. Interesting. Let's get to some merch, by the way, before we continue with our news. Pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get, and by the way, these links are all in the description, don't worry, as well as the books blog that's pinned up above if you're on YouTube. Pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get bookmarks, keychains, belt chains, amulets, that's what I like to call them, and much, much more, various Styx Hex and Hammer merchandise. BiltongUSA.com, by the way, use code STIX on all of these when prompted to do so, and you can get free shipping or 10% off your order. It depends on the site. I can't really keep track of them. BiltongUSA.com or AntonsUSA.com. Wonderful meat, and you can also get Styx Hex and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts. WickedNeedleEmbroidery.BigCartel.com, where you can get Styx Hex and Hammer hats. There are several designs available, and those were highly in demand. It's like they sent me some hats, and then fucking 100 people said, "Oh, where can I get one of those?" I'm like, "Oh shit, it's just gonna take a little time." We have HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com, where you can get survival buckets. By the way, for April, if you buy one of their survival seed buckets, you can be entered into a contest and potentially get all of your orders money back. Also, you can get soaps, and Styx Hex and Hammer soap is on pre-order. It is flavored with cedar, blueberry, and clove. I got a couple bars of it. I will vouch for it. There's literally like a Styx Hex and Hammer box available on that site. I strongly recommend it. It's definitely much more valuable than what they're selling it for. I'm going to enjoy using that in the shower when I get back to Rutland. We have websterswares.com/Styx-wares, where you can get various Trump material, miscellanea, and also more Styx Hex and Hammer material. Beanies, I believe, still coming soon. Jamandbean.com, that is JAMNbean.com, where you can get delicious coffee. You can also get tea. I recommend the Costa Rica blend. That is my favorite coffee of all time. All of them are good, don't get me wrong. That one really, really stands out as being just purely exceptional. I've still got a nice bag of that back in Rutland, too. Probably should have brought one here, but I don't know about customs. So, I'm deprived at the moment. Got to drink Nescafe. And finally, MTPU, that is MTPEW.com, where you can get ammunition. Of course, again, using code STIX for a discount. You can get freshly made ammunition, or they have refilled range brass available. They've got 45, they've got 9mm, they've got 223, 5.56, for the whole shebang, basically. Also, a couple of types that are a little bit odd to me, and I don't know exactly what kind of guns they go towards, so probably for collectors or something like that. Jack the Reaper, PSA, congrats on not being as big a fuck up as Joe Biden today, everyone. Yes, indeed, another day, less fucking up than Joe Biden. Stephen Nizek, what other news is more important than Amazon confirming that Styx chose the Yes Man ending in New Vegas? I actually didn't make it to the end of the game because it was such a glitch fest, I literally put it down. I will say, I liked Fallout 3. Fallout 4 has more nuance, but they need to improve upon the system in Fallout 5. What I want to see is basically, imagine Fallout 4, but it's bigger, number one, obviously. More eye candy, more interactions with people. Like the ability to command other people or convince them to do things. Like, hey, follow me, and then all of a sudden you're leading a small army against an enemy position. That would be good. The ability to arm and armor everyone would be fun. You can have your little army. You can pretend, you can make believe you're in Vietnam. You all put on combat fatigues, probably with ballistic paneling, and then army helmets, and take your combat rifles, and then you go into battle or something like that. It'd be fun, wouldn't it? The other thing is the ability to make bigger settlements. Some of them, in Fallout 4, they really improved upon the concept of customization, because you could literally make your own house in any of the settlements, etc., etc. You could build to your heart's delight. And then there was, of course, the glitch to increase the settlement size, which you'll use frequently if you play that game and you like making settlements. With a lot of mods, though, it was better. And one of the main things was please don't make anything like Hangman's Alley again, because there's no way to make a competent settlement there. I mean, you can, but you have to pack it in to the point where it's completely useless, and then your settlers will go out and they'll blow up the car that respawns outside over and over again and kill themselves. It's a big problem. President Irina Vladimirovna Putina. I support Japan remilitarizing, but I cannot condone giving Kaga's namesake to a glorified helicopter landing ship. She deserves a U.S.-style supercarrier. What a disgrace. Yeah, it's better than nothing, though. Most nations barely have anything beyond a frigate, so. Libertarian spirit. Russian here, not American, but closely watching U.S. politics. I noticed there is a lot of hopium in our circles, but I do see my American colleagues rooting for Dems. Also, ads for Biden rose sharply. Possible 2020 repeat. It's possible, yeah. It's no guarantee that Donald Trump wins re-election. We're just all hoping for that. Awesome Diesel. Hello again. This is a much nicer time zone. Yeah, keep in mind, let's see, a week and a half-ish, I'll be back in the United States. Ish, things are malleable. Zuni88, happy to be catching this stream. Also, love your garden videos. Can't wait to see it at its peak. Yeah, that'll take a while because in Vermont, peak is basically mid-June. So everyone else is like, oh, I just harvested tomatoes today. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's real nice. Swamp Donkey, did you see Brandon Herrera made it to runoff? You think he will be able to clench it? Also, what do you think of all the issues people are finding with voter rolls? The latter doesn't matter because nobody's going to look into it. As far as the former, we'll see. My hope is that he does. Il Sarto, you continuously describe Fallout 76 but refuse to play it. The bugs are fixed. It's $8 to $9 on Steam for the next couple of days. Try it. No, I don't want to play Fallout 76. Yeah, you know, they fixed the glitches. That's really, really great, but I don't consider it canonical. I don't want to play it. Also, I don't have much time for gaming, so it's got to be a really, really good game. Like the next Elder Scrolls title, yeah, I'll play it. The next Fallout title, the next real one, I'll play that. There ain't much else going on in my gaming life. I don't even have time to do Napoleon Total War anymore, and, you know, a match of that can take 15 minutes. Scrabble together, it feels a bit like cheating. This week, for the first time in 75 years history, a new collaborative version of Scrabble was launched in an attempt to entice Gen Z players to the traditional word-making game. I went along to the Board Game Cafe to try out the game that has, in the words of some critics, gone woke. Well, yeah, unfortunately, that's the truth, as we'll see. Joining me are a motley crew of all ages and abilities at Rule Zero, a games bar and cafe sitting in the shadow of London's Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in Stratford. I would hate you so much if this was normal Scrabble, 23-year-old Rap Holfer says as he watches cafe owner Tim Willoughby place an impressive long word on the board. But this is not normal Scrabble. This is the new game, which will soon go on sale across Europe. It's designed to encourage players to work together rather than competing against each other. What the fucking fuck is the point? I don't understand it. You wouldn't believe how much I can suck at Scrabble, and I'm an editor. And I like losing at regular Scrabble more than I would like this bullshit. It's easier than the original. Instead of scoring points, players of Scrabble together aim to work collaboratively to win goal cards. So watered down, basically bullshit. These cards set the players challenges, such as play a word containing at least 3 different consonants. You realize how many words that is? So it's basically like a 4-letter word will work just fine for that goal. There is no time pressure. There doesn't need to be in regular Scrabble, by the way. You can use the timer or ignore it. We ignore it. And players can only win or lose as a group. The game ends when the players complete 20 goal cards, resulting in a collective win, or when the challenges set by the goal cards cannot be completed, finishing in a collective loss. Yeah, how funny. If the game grinds to a halt, there are helper cards that get players out of a sticky situation. The numbers on the tiles, so crucial in the original game, are largely meaningless in Scrabble together. As Raph puts it, with an air of mild disappointment, the numbers are just for decoration. How lovely. Now, fuck you. I'm just going to play original Scrabble. I don't care if I win or lose. The whole point is to try to win, of course. as a singular individual. You want to be the winner. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. In my case with Scrabble, again, very ironically, I tend to be the loser. I don't know exactly why, but yeah. I'm shit at Scrabble, and it's really, really weird. Fun fact, says Deus Flex, when Trump visited Japan in 2019, one of his stops was in the Kaga, along with Abe addressing U.S. and Japanese sailors. I was there. That sounds cool as fuck, dude. I'd like to see their helicopter carrier. That'd be cool. Imagine how big it is. Like, I don't know exactly how big an aircraft carrier is, but I've been on some relatively large ships. Like, I mean, even the biggest ferry that goes across Lake Champlain almost looks a little bit like a miniaturized aircraft carrier. It's got a docking bay with cars in it and everything else. And I thought it was impressive when I was a kid. They've got a little restaurant down below and everything else, like a galley. And, when you're on the surface, it's pretty damn impressive. But goddamn, an aircraft carrier. Imagine the kind of garden you could have on the deck. It'd be sort of like Fallout 3, actually. Let's see. Libertarian spirit. Also, I do not see any signs of people waking up. It's opposite. I see a lot of normies in real life. Consume CNN and literally repeat their talking points. If you're in an urban area, you're going to see more of that. If you go to small town America, you'll see relatively less. You'll see people that are less woke. Leonce the Lion. Speaking of games, my friends and I are reviving an old MMO, Dynasty Ascend. Please check us out, everyone, and join us at Dynasty Ascend. The games industry is so bad, we have to revive the old. There's a shout out for you. I wish somebody would do a version of Dwarf Fortress that wasn't all just a bunch of letters and numbers. It's probably already been made, but you know the old meme, two cat. Because if you have two cats in Dwarf Fortress, apparently they eventually breed out of control and will cannibalize your dwarves or something like that. I don't know. I've never successfully played it, but it looks fun as fuck. DNC paid $1.7 million to Biden's lawyers in special counsel probe. Yeah, I'm going to read a little bit of this verbatim, then I'm going to get into the hypocrisy and irony here. Washington. The Democratic National Committee paid at least $1.7 million to law firms, that's million with an M, representing President Biden during special counsel Robert Hur's investigation into his handling of classified documents, according to federal spending disclosures. Hur ultimately declined to prosecute the president, but wrote in a lengthy report earlier this year that Mr. Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his vice presidency ended in 2017. So he broke the law, but, I'm not going to prosecute him because, I got better things to do. I got to go look at the trial of Donald Trump for trumped up charges, pun intended. Federal records show that the committee paid Bob Bauer, PLLC, more than $1 million between July 2023 and this February. Bauer served as the president's personal attorney in the documents matter. The records also reflect monthly payments of $100,000 to law firm Hemingway and Barnes over roughly the same time period. Axios first reported the payments on Friday. Now, here's the only thing that matters. I don't give a shit if the DNC pays Biden's legal bills. What I do give a shit about is the legacy media's double standards, because they were worried over and over again, oh my God, the RNC is being overthrown and Laura Trump's going to be on the RNC. They're going to try to take money from that in order to pay Donald Trump's legal expenses. They're going to try to pay his appeal money, his bond with RNC money, and it's going to be a big problem. Where's the legacy media reports about this then? Because they were literally paying Joe Biden's legal expenses in a case where he was guaranteed, by the way, to prevail anyway, because the Uniparty's never going to actually throw him under the bus. They're not going to prosecute him. He's one of them. He's a good boy. He doesn't rock the boat. That's the whole point. Where's the legacy media outrage about that $1.7 million? If the RNC were to give Trump $1.7 million right now towards legal expenses, they'd shit their pants. And it would be a big scandal. And in fact, the RNC, if it wanted to troll the Democratic Party, would do that right now. Free up $1.7 million, which is a drop in the bucket to what you got in the war chest anyway, now that Trump's fundraising for you more often. Free up $1.7 million and say, well, we're putting this towards his bond or something like that. The legacy media will run with it. And they will say that it's evidence of corruption and political insidership and all of these terrible things. And then say, well, here's this report that the DNC did literally the same thing with the Her investigation. They could troll. I wish that these people were more skilled because they have the money and the means to troll the absolute ever-loving shit out of these individuals within the liberal movement, and they never take the opportunity. It's almost like the Republicans really, really love to lose. Make me advisor. Get Scott Pressler and me in there. Oh boy, get us with Laura Trump, and we will absolutely crush the opposition. It won't even be close. Swamp Donkey. Scrabble has always sucked. No, it hasn't. Scrabble's fun. Monopoly is the best and most peaceful game. If Trump loses, does this cause the GOP to collapse and reform? I believe if Trump wins 2025, will be wild as fuck. Oh, it will be. And I'm hoping he does win. No, if Trump loses, the GOP will wagon circle. Say, well, we nominated the wrong person. They'll go back to neocons or something like that. By the way, Monopoly is fun, but I do prefer Scrabble. I'm really good at Monopoly, by the way. Just saying. That's one that I can win at. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's Meat and Eat. Free shipping for your Biltong using code STICKS on biltongusa.com and antonsusa.com. Joe Wars and Cabanassi back in stock. The Cabanassi is definitely, you should always have that in stock. If you like heat, Reaper is available. Clank. Yes, they have extra spicy Biltong with Carolina Reapers, as well as a ghost pepper variety, actually. And it is spicy. Yeah, not gonna lie. BW, I can't help it. New York trial is hopeless. People are too stupid. And a follow-up, I gotta know what's with the glove. It's stylish. Doesn't it look cool? I'm a Jedi now. What do fuck? Sky News is reporting the locals are rioting after the priest got stabbed. I guess they are tired of being disarmed by their own government. Goodness. Yeah, please. Apparently there's some breaking news with regards to a priest being stabbed or something. And I need DMs on Twitter. I'll have to look at them later. BW, they'll collapse because enough voters are MAGA and won't vote for them. Yeah, screw the GOP. If they throw Trump under the bus, then they're dead to me. I'll support Rand Paul. I'll support some others within the party, Massey and a handful. But most of the Republicans are retarded, so I don't give a shit about them. I'm not a Republican. Let's see. Wolf on the Plains. You're talking about Japan's carrier. Well, they're actually prototyping a Gundam. Kami Colorado has been trying to screw gun owners for years. Talked about that this morning, yeah. Lucivart, Sticks, play RimWorld. It's basically Dwarf Fortress, and I'm playing as I listen. I just had a new Dark Magic and Horror DLC release. Goodness. Lance the Lion, thank you so much for the shout out. I appreciate it. Keep rocking and making great content. Wanted to throw you some extra money. Well, then you get an extra shout out. You get what you pay for on this channel. Alamandorius. Hey, Sticks. So along with Scrabble, Warhammer 40k has finally bent the knee with the introduction of female Adeptus Custodes. Then lied Orwell style with there were always female Custodes. I've never played Warhammer. I only know about Nurgle because of the Ebola-chan sort of thing. Michael Greco, will you watch and talk about the new Fallout series on Prime? Absolutely not. I already addressed that. Never gonna happen, dude. Video game? Fun. TV series? Fuck you. Libertarian spirit. So the only hope for the system of electoral college, namely winning in key purple states despite losing popular vote. I watched U.S. elections as I want Gary Gensler out because his policies affect me. Yeah, no, we must defend the electoral system. We're a republic. We're not a direct democracy. By the way, if I lean in a little bit like this, it's because right now, again, I do not have the larger screen. I've got the laptop screen in front of me, and it's much smaller than what I'm used to. A tough pill to swallow. Your old friend Anomaly is saying Trump wants to outlaw Christianity. Well, I mean, he's Anomaly. I mean, he blocked me for a reason. He's got TDS as bad as he should just become a Democrat, I suppose. Sassmaster531. How should I handle polls showing Biden winning a national poll but Trump winning swing states? Also, was flat Pennsylvania poll showing Biden +10 an outlier? Yes, it is. Always use the aggregate. Right now, Trump is ahead or roughly even in all of the swing states and slightly ahead in national polling. This will change over time. You can expect, by the way, don't get blackpilled when I say this. You can expect several polling periods over the coming months where Biden is probably a little bit ahead in national polling. Keep in mind that he supposedly, honk honk, barely won while being about 7 points ahead in 2020. He's nowhere near that, not even close. He's 7, 8 points behind that on a good day. Sometimes he's 10 points behind that. So don't get blackpilled. Don't get demoralized. Go out and harvest a couple ballots, sign a couple people up to vote, knock on a couple of doors. If everyone watching this stream alone in the United States does that, it's ironclad. The race is done. Literally, from the size of audience currently watching this video, that's the margin that we're working with. A few thousand or tens of thousands of people. It's actually incredible. Money Drip 6665. Wasn't Monopoly originally to promote socialism, but literally promoted capitalism as one of the most popular games in history? I don't know. I don't actually know about that. I just know that it's fun. I also know that for some statistical reason, and it must be because of the numbers on dice or something like that, apparently the most valuable triplicate property that you can have is the orange one. That is, you go around the board right after the corner, after I think the free space, there's the orange properties there. I can't remember which ones they are. If you can grab all three of them, apparently there's a slightly higher percentage of players that land on those properties than any other property in the game. I don't know why exactly. I always try to gobble up the purple ones too. Those are the second ones. And then the light blue, because you've got Vermont on there. And so I always thought that was cool as a kid. But yeah, gobble up those fucking properties, mortgage whatever you have to, and grab as much shit as you can, because that's basically the name of the game. Maloney, over in Italy. Italy's prime minister says surrogacy is inhuman as party backs steeper penalties. Yes, apparently you can get a fine or even jail time in Italy for having a surrogate. So in other words, having someone else carry your child because you're physically incapable of doing so. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni says surrogacy is inhuman and is backing steeper penalties against the practice, including fines of up to $1 million and multiple-year prison sentences. The act of surrogacy, with or without payment, is already illegal in Italy. But Meloni's Brothers of Italy party has introduced a bill that would further criminalize the act by hiking fines from €600,000, to 1 million, and increasing jail terms from 3 months to 2 years. I continue to believe that surrogacy is an inhuman practice, Meloni said at a conference for a Young Europe, Demographic Transition, Environment, Future in Rome on Friday. I support the bill that makes it a universal crime, she added. Meloni's comments against surrogacy fall in line with the views held by the Catholic Church. Oh, no? Really? It's total coincidence, by the way. Fuck the Catholic Church. Surrogacy is a good thing. If somebody is incapable of getting pregnant, but somebody else is willing to help them have a child, what the fuck is the problem, and how the fuck is it the the state's business? I don't understand. Trump came out the other day in the wake of coming out against Arizona's abortion ban because it's draconian. It's literally an 1860s era law, and it makes no sense. And the fact that the GOP partially embraces this is you're nutso for politically strategic purposes alone, regardless of your own feelings. I mean, you're literally bashing yourself in the skull on that issue. Trump came out in favor of surrogacy. Well, I guess Meloni is not going to be his best friend. I guess his bestie will remain Javier Milei. To tell the truth, I think that people should be able to generally do what they want. I'm also a capitalist. So if somebody wants to pay somebody else to have a child for them, for whatever reason, I don't want my vagina stretched out. I don't want scarring. Hey, I can't physically do it because I'm malformed in some way or something like that. Why should they be denied the ability to have a child? It doesn't make any sense. Meloni is off on this one. And this is the right wing being the right wing. It's not just within the United States. You're putting forth a line. I know in Italy it might be more popular because it's overwhelmingly Catholic. And that's the Vatican's position. I mean, They would rather dudes suck each other's cocks than have a surrogacy for some reason at this point. That should probably give all you Catholics out there pause about the holiness of your church and the holiness of your Pope. But, I mean, while that is understandable, how can this possibly be construed as a state issue? You're going to fine people for surrogacy? I don't know. Kind of weird, dude. Spike11117. I thought the glove was for being a pallbearer at OJ's funeral. Also, thoughts on gambling legalization expanding in states with the economy crashing. While I believe that people should be allowed to gamble, I don't really like casinos. I've never been in one, and I don't intend to be in one. I don't gamble. I think it's bullshit. Worm, you sticks. I just finished a 39-minute documentary on the military-industrial complex, premiering on May 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's called Overkill. Channel Nathan Wormser. Ta-da! You got a shout-out. Hoshak, if Trump wins, do you think China and or Russia will test him with more conflicts? Probably. They're certainly testing Biden. It's just that Trump might pass the test. Biden clearly isn't. That's the problem. BW, he sent a link. Sydney priest among 4 people stabbed during church service in Australia. I did see that story. I'll have to look into it. It's a link to a Sky News priest coverage. Yes, I'll look into that. Thank you. Swamp Donkey, do you think Mossad, the chosen ones, will false flag the West into war with Iran? I do not expect the imminence of a wider war. But we're already in a regional war. In the proxy sense, of course. U.S. troops are not currently bombing Iran or something like that. We are technically at war with them already. U.S. planes were involved with the interception of Iranian missiles and drones, for example, over the last couple of days. We're already involved with it. The regional war has already begun. Let's pray that it does not go further because it's an unwinnable war. Clem Semple. News tip. FISA was just reauthorized. Oh, how lovely. And how predictable, by the way, as well. I'm not surprised in the least. They held it up. People like Rand Paul have principles, but then there are a bunch of Dan Crenshaws in the party that think it's a great idea to spy on people without a warrant. I would ask Dan Crenshaw, hey, how about the Tsarnaev brothers? Did the FISA system stop them? The FBI was literally warned 2 years before the Boston Marathon bombing by Chechen authorities that they had been radicalized, and they were literally posting about Osama bin Laden quotes on Facebook, publicly, openly. You didn't need a warrant to search that because it was literally there in public. Did you do anything about it or stop them? No? Well, then fuck you. Yeah, FISA system is bullshit. Not there to stop crimes. It's there to just spy on you. New species of ant. Here's our science news of the day. And the last news story as well. Found pottering under the Pilbara, named after Voldemort. That is a stereotypically Australian quotation. I have no clue what it actually means. New species of ant was named after Voldemort. I don't know what pottering is, and I don't know where the Pilbara is. A study by the University of Western Australia has unearthed a new species of subterranean ant that shares some traits with a well-known Harry Potter villain. J.K. Rowling will be getting shit about it probably. Oh my God, those ants are sexist. The research published in Zookeys describes the new species Leptania Voldemort as a pale ant with a slender build, spindly legs, and long, sharp mandibles. Lead researcher Dr. Mark Wong, a Forrest Fellow from UWA's School of Biological Sciences, said its name, L. Voldemort for short, paid homage to the dark wizard Lord Voldemort in the Harry Potter series. The fearsome antagonists in Harry Potter and the ant have a ghostly and slender appearance and live in the shadows, Dr. Wong said. The ant was discovered in an ecological survey that documented animals living below ground in the arid Pilbara region in the north of Western Australia. Oh, so the edge of the outback. Only 2 specimens of the new ant species were found, and both were collected in a net lowered down a 25-meter drill hole and retrieved by scraping against the hole's inner surface, he said. There are more than 14,000 species of ants worldwide. Again, some of you are bored with me talking about this. I love ants. I think they're great. But only about 60 of these belong to the genus Leptania. Unlike most ants, species of Leptania live in small colonies, usually comprising a queen and only 100 or so workers, and nest and forage exclusively underground, Dr. Wong said. So these ants never come to the surface. They're completely demelanated. They are blind. And that's pretty cool, dude. I never knew that genus actually existed until literally the other day, and I was obsessed with ants for a long time. I love ants. Oh, one time, you want to hear a funny story? One time we had an infestation in our house of carpenter ants. Those are the big black ones that they bite pretty hard. It's not pleasant to get bitten by one of their soldiers. And they were burrowing in and living in the woodwork right on top of the basement and in the garage, actually. And I got a bright idea. I said, I bet I can wipe out this colony because there's a stronger version of ants that lives out in a tree stump, literally like, 30 yards away. And so I broke the tree stump open, and there's a shit ton of red ants that came out, right? And I took a plastic container. I scooped up a whole bunch of them several times. I got bitten several times in the process, closed it up. And then we were going to go to the restaurant, to Sewers, which unfortunately is no longer open. They had really good beer battered fries and really good super dogs there. Man, let me tell you, their chili dogs were great. Fortunately, they no longer exist. With my grandfather and my parents, that we were going to go. And I took the ants and I dumped them right next to the black ant's nest. I knew where their nest entrance was. I just dumped them there. And then we went to the restaurant. When we came back, there was an entire field of dead ants all over the garage, all over the front entrance. It was a massacre. The red ants literally obliterated the entire colony. And of course, because they didn't have their queen and couldn't get home, they eventually died as well. And so actually the best ant removal you can do, dump a stronger version of ants on them. It's like those crazy ants they have in the South. Well, I'm sure that there's something Amazon ants. Maybe they can take care of them. Christus Dominus. Why one glove indoors? Because I look fucking cool. Alamandorius, the question, is this ant yet another thing in Australia that will kill you or wants to kill you but can't? Probably the latter, because they're only like a millimeter long. So unless they're really, really poisonous, I don't think that they're going to be chewing anyone up. Also, they only live underground. So, unless you're going spelunking, you're probably not going to encounter them. Let's see. By the way, I've got another funny ant story, actually, after I get to these super chats. I have run out of news, so I'm just going to ramble for a minute. BW, there's a part of me that thinks if we have nuclear war, at least we'll be free of wokeness, and Democrats, Evercloud does have a silver lining. Yeah, but I mean, 99% of humanity would die, so I'd just as soon not. I've got plenty of MREs and potassium iodide and gas masks and guns and all of that stuff, so I would probably survive a nuclear war, especially because I can grow food. But much as though it would be fun to have the leaks glowing in the dark, I'd just as soon not. I'd rather the canned goods not glow at night because I'm an insomniac. It'll probably keep me awake, and have all of the glowing pickled beets next to me. Next ant story before I go offline, and then I'll do my news crawl. So please send no more super chats. I'm just going to rant here for a minute. There was one time right out in front of our house. We didn't used to have vinyl siding that was lengthwise. It was very up and down. It dated to the 60s. It was very much atomic era. It looked like a Fallout house, basically, originally. Same color and everything, actually. And but it wasn't flush to the ground in one location. And a bunch of hornets actually built a nest in there. And you'd see them flying in or out. And one of them stung me. And I'm like, fuck you, this ain't going to fly. I mean, the hornet was flying, but you understand what I mean. So I decided to wipe them out. And so I took some of those same ants from the same tree stump. This was, I think, after I wiped out the carpenter ants. And I said, this is going to be funny. I wonder what'll happen. Because, I mean, there's only about an inch gap underneath the vinyl siding. The ants can go in there and brawl with the hornets. And I don't want them there. So I took a bunch of them, probably a couple hundred ants, and I pushed them up inside with the hornets. And then I semi-sealed it off to keep the ants, to make them go up into the vinyl siding. Oh, you should have seen it. There were hornets. They were tumbling out covered in ants that were ripping their limbs off and all sorts of crazy shit. And it was pretty fun. As a science-minded kid, yeah, I had a fun time. I also learned that if you took really, really hot boiling water and put it in a spray canister and then you sprayed wasps with it, it would eventually kill them. I don't like killing insects, but if you invade my space or if you sting me, then I'm going to wipe out your whole fucking family, Muddy Drip, every 90s kid, every time they hear this one time at band camp. Webster's Wares. Good morning, clankers from Endicott, Washington. Free shipping using code STICKS at www.websterswares.com. Working on international shipping to worldwide clankers. Trump and Styx plush-lined beanies now available. Okay, the Styx beanies are now available. Next time I go on Timcast, I've got to bring him one. I'll wear one myself as well. It's going to be beanie time. But yeah, I had a great time as a kid with insects. Mostly I like to get along with them. I used to go to random anthills and I would feed them, actually. I'd feed them, some of the grubs or beetles or whatever that was trying to infest the garden. I'd grab them up and I'd put them in a container. And then I'd go to anthills and I would feed the ants. And I would watch them as they dragged them into the anthill. And I thought it was a great time. I didn't do it out of malice or because I wanted, to hurt other living things. It was just, I thought it was fascinating. It was fucking science and shit. By the way, again, I am having one of the happiest days of my life. Even happier once I eat the green beans and the pickled beets later. Jesus Christ. Elucidation Station, because you were a weirdo. Yes, I was that kid that built a Lego penitentiary for insects that would invade my room when I was in Woodstock. And I had an electroshock system and would give them brain damage and force them to fight one another. Oh, I was definitely messed up, but I was definitely intelligent about it too. I figured out how to generate an electrical arc using one of those globe things, with the lightning inside them. I can't remember what they're called. You'd touch them and the lightning would go to your finger. I figured out that if you had a ring of metal on top and ran a wire or a chain from that, you could generate electricity, pure current. And but you had to be very careful about this because if you weren't careful, you would shock yourself. I learned that actually when I opened it on Christmas. A little piece of the foil wrapper fell onto it when I turned it on and I touched it and I got shocked. I said, you mean that I can actually generate electricity from this relatively safely? Well, that's going to be fucking fun. You have a paper clip or a pin on the end. And then I used a Star Wars action figure made of plastic, non-electrical generating, of course, to hold it and didn't shock myself. And I used to shock insects. Yeah, I used to give them brain damage. I would also burn off their limbs, actually, at the time. I fucking love science. Man, it was great. I had a good childhood. Impoverished, but otherwise it was great, let me tell you. Had a video scope. If I got a cut or anything, first thing that I did was take my blood and put it on a microscope slide. That was the kind of kid that I was. I was in my goddamn element. God, I got to get a nice microscope now. They're probably way better these days, too. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. I've covered all the news and ranted enough about killing ants with magnifying glasses and electrical arcs and so forth. I will be back tomorrow with more news. Don't worry. I'm just in a really, really happy mood right now. And I'm thinking about eating and, stuff like that. I can't even focus on the news. I'm superlatively happy. 'Tis a good day. I hath not even have to utilize my musket. That's about all. Peace out.